You are listening to Cool FM, live from Cool Studios. This is Cool News at
4. Good afternoon, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. This is Cool News at 4. It is now 4:01 p.m. And you are listening right here on Cool FM Nationwide and on News Radio 93.1. Here are our top headlines. The Philippine economy is projected to grow by 6.3% in 2025, picking up slightly from this year's forecast on the back of an anticipated recovery in domestic activity. This is according to the report released on Monday by BMI Research, a unit of diversified financial information company TVH Group, which said that resilience in domestic demand will edge up growth. A renewed acceleration in private consumption will also be sustained. For one, inflation retreated from a recent peak of 4.4% in July to 2.3% in October, which will support real household incomes, the report said. The report noted that the Philippines' strong import performance suggests that household spending is recovering. Additionally, it said that local labor market conditions remain tight relative to historical standards. The latest data showed the unemployment rate dipping from 4.0% in August to 3.7% in September, despite an increase in the participation rate by around 0.1 percentage point from 64.8% in August, the report noted. This essentially means that around 20% of the people who entered the labor force were able to find a job. They read further. Despite the optimistic outlook, the BMI research report noted significant downside risk, citing first and foremost the expected policy decisions from the newly elected U.S. President Donald Trump. Throughout his campaign, Trump consistently stated his plan to impose tariffs of up to 20% on all goods entering the United States. As one of the Philippines' largest trading partners, it will not be able to shy away from the impact of these protectionist policies, the report said. Customers of Power Distributor Manila Electric Corp or Marco may have to pay higher for their electricity bills this month due to an increase in the generation charge. At the briefing Tuesday, the company said power rates would go up by 0.4274 pesos per kilowatt hour, pushing the overall rate for a fiscal household of to 11.8569 pesos per kilowatt hour from the previous month's 11.4295 pesos per kilowatt hour. Households consuming 200 kilowatts per hour would need to top up an additional 85 pesos to settle the bill for the month. Morocco Vice President and Head of Corporate Communications Joel Sadariaga pinned the blame on higher generation charge, which went up by 0.2884 pesos per kilowatt hour. The official likewise noted a hike in the transmission charge, reaching 0.0724 pesos per kilowatt hour due to higher ancillary service charges from the wholesale electricity spot market reserve market. So the Riaga said that while power consumption usually drops during the colder months, activities related to holidays and festive events may jack up energy use. The government should have prioritized the country's agricultural sector rather than increasing the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflicts or NTF Outcock 2025 budget, Fisher Folk Group papan sa lakas ng kiluusang mamamalakaya ng Pilipinas said on Tuesday. On Monday, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. approved an increase of up to 7.5 million pesos for village allocation for the NTF Outcock support to Barangay Development Program as part of its anti-communist efforts. Pamalakaya Vice Chairperson Romel Rambulo said the funds would be better utilized if allocated to agriculture production, especially in the aftermath of typhoons and other calamities that affected the sector. Human rights and democracy advocates have long called for the abolishment, not additional funding of the NTF Alcac, he said in Filipino. It is clear that President Marcos Jr. has no plans to abolish the NTF Alcac, given his decision to increase its budget, which offers no tangible benefits for farmers and fishers in remote villages. Yeah. Based on the latest report by the Department of Agriculture, the country's agriculture sector incurred 6.83 billion, sorry, again, 6.83 billion pesos in losses due to the combined effects of storms Christine and Leon. National Security Council Assistant Director General Jonathan Malaya revealed on Monday that Marcos was not happy with the NTF Alcac's initial 2.5 million pesos allocation per barangay in the 2024 General Appropriations Act. So President Marcos ordered the Department of Budget and Management to allocate additional funds for this year. He said that 2.5 million pesos will hardly make an impact in terms of development, so he ordered the augmentation, Malaya's statement read. A total of 4.32 billion pesos was allocated for 864 barangays, which will each receive 7.5 million pesos under the Anti-Communities Task Force SBTV program next year, according to the NSC. However, Arampulo maintained that the NTF COGCAC has done nothing but endanger many activists and community members of progressive and people's organizations. The NTF COGCAC has had no meaningful impact on the ordinary citizen, as it has only become a tool to further restrict democracy and freedom of expression through terror tagging, he said in Filipino. The NTF COGCAC does not deserve to receive a single centavo because it has not developed a single barangay since it was established, he added. The verification of so many testimonies from possible witnesses has led the House of Representatives Court Committee to cancel its scheduled hearing on the Duterte administration's war on drugs on Wednesday, panel officials said on Tuesday. In a press briefing at the Pambansang Complex, Court Committee lead presiding officer and Circle del Norte Second District Representative Robert A. Barber said that the chairpersons of the four panels have been contemplating since last week about the cancellation of the hearing. Barbers, however, said they only made a decision on Monday night, informing resource persons that the next hearing will be held on November 21 instead. The Quadcom chairs have already been contemplating since last week to move the scheduled Wednesday Quadcom hearing for several reasons. First reason, if you recall, we always say that if there are witnesses, we want them to execute affidavits. Number two, even if they have executed their affidavits, we will have to vet them, he said. And because there are so many resource persons, many want to testify, we think we really need to study whom we would invite for the discussions on extrajudicial killings, on the illegal drugs, and on the Philippine offshore gaming operators. That's why we decided yesterday that we would cancel our meeting supposedly for tomorrow, November 13th, to give us more time up to next Thursday to interview, to set up our agenda, and to finish all our interviews, he added. According to Barbers, there were instances wherein they had to place witnesses under a physical test and a polygraph examination so that the committee members can ascertain if resource persons are telling the truth. Many really want to testify. In fact, we reached a point where a resource person who wants to testify, after giving his or her affidavit, was asked to be examined by a physical artist, go through a polygraph test in concurrent so that we can ascertain if they are telling the truth, Barbara said. It's not easy to present witnesses. That is the reason why we had to cancel, he added. Barbara's clarification came after bloggers supportive of former President Rodrigo Duterte called out the Quad Committees for canceling its hearing just as the former leader was supposed to participate. The blog of Mocha Uson, a former Assistant Secretary during the Duterte administration, even accused the Quad Committee of certainly being afraid. Santa Rosa City Representative Dan Fernandez, chairperson of the House Committee on Public Order and Safety, meanwhile said that they can no longer resume the hearing because there has to be a 3-day advance notice for invited guests to be informed of the schedule. Actually, 2 days ago, we decided about that. We talked with the chairman. And then suddenly, just last night, we saw that they would now attend. Our problem is that we have already notified the resource persons, especially those from Cebu, the victims, about the cancellation. And at the same time, we are vetting witnesses from Isabela and I think one also from the north, he said. But it's hard to continue a hearing tomorrow because the pronouncement and the invitation to other resource persons have already been cancelled, he added. It is now 4:11 p.m. We will return with more news headlines, particularly international and showbiz, right here on Cool News at 4. This is Cool News at 4. We will be right back. Welcome back. On to the international headlines now. President-elect Donald Trump is expected to name Florida's Senator Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, the New York Times reported Monday night. It quoted three people as saying that the decision is not final, but that Trump appears to have settled on Rubio, a royalist whose Trump passed over his vice presidential running mate. Rubio has been consistently named over the last week as one of the front runners to head U.S. diplomacy, along with the former ambassador to Germany, Rick Grenell. He would become a key architect of Trump's second term America First foreign policy, with Trump having promised to end the wars raging in Ukraine and the Middle East and avoid any more American military entanglement and entanglements overseas. Florida Senator Rick Scott sent congratulations to Rubio in a message on X, writing, "He will restore American leadership around the world, especially in Latin America, as he represents the United States with dignity and courage." The nomination of Rubio, a hawkish congressman with Cuban heritage, would cap a remarkable turnaround in his relations with Trump. In 2016, when they were competing for the Republican presidential nomination, Rubio called Trump a con artist and the most vulgar person to ever aspire to the presidency. Trump belittled him as Little Marco and mocked him for sweating and wearing heavy makeup during TV appearances. Rubio first made his name in foreign policy as a vociferous opponent of Cuba and his leftist allies in Latin America, particularly Venezuela. He has since become one of the most outspoken senators against Beijing, viewing the Asian power as a major threat to U.S. interests. He has sought to make it more difficult for Chinese companies to operate in the United States and has led congressional efforts to punish Beijing on human rights grounds over its treatment of the Uyghur minority. Compared with Trump, he offers a more traditional U.S. approach to foreign policy. After Trump spoke during his campaign about Taiwan needing to pay protection money to Washington, Rubio spoke out in favor of the self-governing democracy and predicted that a second Trump administration would support its defense against China. Born to Cuban immigrants in Miami, Rubio graduated with a political science degree from the University of Florida in 1993. He was elected to the U.S. Senate in 2010 with his campaign buoyed by the Tea Party, a far-right contingent of Republicans that coalesced in the aftermath of Barack Obama's election as president. Trump has promised to bring global stability through American strength, but his plans for how he intends to end the war in Ukraine remain unspecified, with European allies and Ukraine concerned about unilateral U.S. moves. Trump is also widely reported to be on the verge of naming former Army Special Forces veteran and noted China Wok Michael Waltz for the crucial national security advisor post in the White House, according to reports Monday. Waltz, who also represents Florida in Congress as part of the House of Representatives, wrote in his recent book that the United States faced an existential struggle with the Chinese Communist Party. He expressed concern about what he termed a 1930s era Nazi Germany-style military buildup in China during a talk at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation last month. Singapore and China took steps to refresh the relationship and deepen collaboration in areas such as trade and finance at the APEC's bilateral cooperation meeting between the two countries on November 11. At the fourth Joint Council for Bilateral Cooperation meeting held since Mr. Lawrence Wong took the helm in Singapore as Prime Minister in May, progress and continuity were stressed amid the leadership transition. With every new generation of leaders, you need to refresh the relationship, continue to strengthen mutual understanding so that you can build trust and confidence with one another, Deputy Prime Minister Gan Kim Yong, who took over from Prime Minister Wong as JCBC co-chair in 2024, told the Singapore media after a series of meetings held under the umbrella of JCBC on November 11. Leaders from both sides agreed to continue to collaborate and tap opportunities in emerging areas to deliver high-quality outcomes that will benefit both countries and contribute to regional prosperity, a statement from the Prime Minister's office said. Mr. Gunn said he had a fruitful and substantive discussion with his Chinese counterpart, Vice Premier Ding Xing, who had taken over from then Prime Premier Hang Zihang in 2023 after the Chinese government started a new 5-year term under President Xi Jinping. Leadership transition notwithstanding, Singapore continues to neutral ties with China while adapting to new challenges and opportunities. Businessman Alex Phil's Amim was sworn in as Haiti's new prime minister on Monday as a gun attack on a passenger jet at the capital's airport underscored the older breakdown in law and order in the Caribbean country. Phil's aim replaced outgoing Premier Gary Conneal, who was appointed in May but became embroiled in a power struggle with the unelected Transitional Council tasked with stabilizing the crisis WAP nation. We have our transition with lots of work to do. The first essential job, which is a condition for success, is restoring security, Phil's Emmet said in his first remarks. He said he was aware of Haiti's difficult circumstances but promised to put all of my energy, my skills, and my patriotism at the service of the national cause. The challenges awaiting him are daunting, as evidenced by the drama in the skies over the capital city. Locals American carrier Spirit Airlines said that a flight from Florida was hit by gunfire while trying to land at Port of the Prince on Monday and had to be diverted to the neighboring Dominican Republic. One flight attendant suffered minor injuries and was being elevated by medical staff, the airline said in a statement, while images posted online appeared to show several bullet holes inside the cabin. No passengers were hurt. The airport in Port-au-Prince has grounded all commercial flights at the Miami Herald reported, while American Airlines announced it was suspending its service between Miami and the Haitian capital until Thursday. The International Air Transport Association, a trade group representing airlines, said it strongly condemns recent attacks on civil aviation in Haiti, underscoring the urgent need for robust security measures to protect air operations. It stressed how the disorder threatened the movement of goods and humanitarian aid critical for the Haitian people. And now on to showbiz. The Philippine Movie Press Club released the full list of nominees for its 39th edition, which recognizes films and artists of the Philippine cinema in 2022. The PMPC is holding the 39th Star Awards for movies to honor and rightfully recognize deserving individuals in the movie industry 2 years ago when the world has just recovered from the onslaught of the global pandemic, the award-giving body said through its Facebook page on Monday, November 11. PMPC will hold a special awards presentation this November 24. So here are the list of nominees for the 39th Star Wars for movies. For movie of the year, we have The Leader from FIFA Films, Family Matters, Cynical Productions and Top Story, Mama Sapano, Now It Can Be Told from Borracho Film Productions, May, December, January for FIFA Films, My Father, Myself, 360 Media Network and Mentor Q Productions, My Teacher from 1017p and Tinkan Productions, and Nanahimik ang Gabi from Rin Entertainment Productions. And for indie movie of the year, we have 12 Weeks from Simanalaya Foundation, Film Development Council of the Philippines, Digital Films, Bakit Di Mo Sabihin from FIFA Films, Blue Room from Simanalaya Foundation, 3PH Films, Eye Poppers Multi-Service Service, Heaven's Best Entertainment, Broken Blues from Benji Productions, Dollhouse from Max X Film Productions and Netflix Originals, Live Scream from the Idea First Company, Powerhouse Media Capital, and FIFA Films, and The Baseball Player from Similar Life Foundation, Rough Road Productions, Mac X Film Productions, Nokarin, Porch Edward Films. And for movie actress of the year, we have Andrea Del Rosario for May, December, January, Max Igeman, Jenny Gutierrez, Lisa Lorena, Nadine Lusre, Teresa Malvar, and Heaven Pelarejo. And that's a lot to get into, but we're not going to get into that since this is a long list here. But we have mentioned the notable categories for this said award-winning show. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now 4:29 p.m. and that is all for koolNews at 4. As always, we will return at 6 p.m. under koolNews at 6 for more news and headlines. You can send us your comments and suggestions at tvh.news@gmail.com. I'm Carlo and this is koolNews. We will see you later at 6 p.m. Take care and mabuhay. Goodbye for now.